Is it possible to graph y equals square root of 2x plus square root of 2? This is linear. It's written in the form y equals mx plus b, where m is equal to the slope and b is equal to the y-intercept. The slope is rise over run, or in other words, a over b. The slope of this one is square root of 2, but we can't express square root of 2 as a ratio of integers. So how do we graph this if we can't write the slope out? Well, you might argue we can just write this as square root of 2 over 1. But the trick is, what is the square root of 2? The best we can do is approximate it. So how are we going to graph this if we can only get an approximate value for square root of 2? Well, there is a precise way to graph it. So if we start with the graph, we draw a circle with radius 1 around the origin. The equation would be x squared plus y squared equals 1. And then next, let's graph the line y equals x. Let's find the intersection of the circle and the line in quadrant 1. So if we make a right triangle with the components of x and y, each of these would be equal to some value a. And we know they're both a because the line y equals x has a slope of 1. So the rise and the run have to be the same. So if we take this same triangle up here, since a is in the x and y direction, we know both of these are right angles. We know this is 1 because the radius of the circle is 1. So that means that we know a squared plus a squared equals 1 squared. So for the same reason, this would also be 1 up here. Now let's take this intersection with the y-axis and our line right here. And this intersection point we know has an x value of 0 because it's on the y-axis, but we don't know the height yet, so we'll just call that c. So now we've created a new right triangle right here with sides 1, 1, and this length right here is the same thing as the height c. So we can use Pythagorean theorem again to show 1 squared plus 1 squared equals c squared. Each of these 1 squareds become a 1. 1 plus 1 is 2, which gives us 2 equals c squared. We square root both sides and we get c equals square root of 2. So we can update this to square root of 2. So now let's clean everything up. If we mark the point negative 1, 0. And let's connect these 2 points and extend the line. So let's find the equation of this blue line. We have y equals mx plus b. M is the slope, so we can change that to rise over run. So here's our rise and here's our run. This rise is this length, square root of 2. And then the run is the distance from negative 1 to 0, which is 1. Let's clean this up. And then b is the y-intercept, and our y-intercept is square root of 2. And we can rewrite the slope as root 2. So this blue line is y equals square root of 2x plus square root of 2. And we know that precisely. We did not have to do any estimations because all this was exact. So it is possible to graph a line even if that slope is not rational. You guys are awesome. Comment on what you'd like me to talk about next, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.